What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. No book again, but you know what? We're just rocking with it. Speaking of rocking it, do you know that I have an email that you can send in your own rockin' sockin' RPG horror stories as well as like a personal submission? If you have your own story you'd like to submit for me that you don't really feel like posting somewhere else, you're more than welcome to send it to the email down below. Anyway, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Thanks, but no thanks. A friend that I met over Discord reaches out to me about a month ago and asked if I wanted to play in a game they were getting started. I asked the usual questions about systems and setting, what was expected and so on. I told them that I would love to play and that I would think about what I wanted to do for a character. They told me to take my time. I noticed he had started a channel for the game and an out-of-character sub-channel where all the players that joined could chat and bounce ideas off each other. While I was lurking, reading comments that people had posted, I saw them. There are 3 users that I'm just going to call Tom, Dick, and Harry, and all 3 of them were in this chat channel. I was in a game with Tom quite a while ago. He was among the most thoroughly obnoxious murder hobos I've ever seen. He didn't seem to have a serious bone in his body. Judging by the comments he was leaving in the sub-channel, it didn't seem like he changed much. I actually left the game that him and I were in because of his persistent immature behavior. Dick was just a dick. He'd steal things from other PCs, he would intentionally aggro monsters and use the other PCs as meat shields. He firmly took control of the party's decision and would not hear anybody else out. He would frequently pull down other players out of character. Worst of all, whenever anybody complained about him, nothing got done. Pretty much because he was the DM's pet. Dick is one of the few people that I had seriously contemplated blocking on Discord. Harry was a condescending rules lawyer that was a co-DM for a game I had played when I first started playing VTTs. He was a pedantic, arrogant, and had a certain narcissism about him that was somewhat hard to describe. He rather idealistically used the phrase, "I'm going to level with you," to an annoying degree. He was also one of those guys that would call you a bigot if you disagree with them on anything. Because reasons, I guess? Damn, we got like a triple combo going on over here. We got a murder hobo, a literal dick to everybody else that just plays like an a-hole, and a pedantic, obnoxious rules lawyer that literally says you're a bigot if you say they're wrong or something. I don't really know many people that use the word like, "I'm gonna level with you," like over and over. It's like, it's fine if you say like once in a while when you're really trying to make a point, but if you say that all the time, that kind of does lose its magic. My favorite thing is to say, "Let me break it down for you," and just start dancing. Just break it down. Break it down. Anyway, stupid jokes aside, we basically got 3 problem players to deal with. Let's see how this happens. I messaged my friend and asked if there would be for certain playing in the game that he was going to run. My friend replied that there were 3 of the 4 that he confirmed. I told my friend that if those 3 guys were going to be in a game, I didn't want to play. I thanked him for thinking about me though. 2 weeks later, my friend messages me again, this time to tell me that I should have warned him. We asked him what happened, and all he told me was that he had never had a group before where he ended a game in the first session because he kicked all the players off the channel. I almost wish I'd been there to see it happen. You didn't tell your friend about them? Not at all? Oh, okay. I get Tom, Dick, and Harry are bad, but you are the worst. Like, you could have given your friend a bit of a warning ahead of time. You didn't give him a single warning. Just let him to the wolves of problem players, murder hobos, and dicks. Why would you do that? That's okay. If he's actually your buddy, if he's actually your friend, the least you can do, and I know I feel like it's dumb that I have to even say it out loud, but the least you can do is be a good friend and warn your friend about, hey, this guy is a murder hobo, this guy is just an a-hole to everybody, and this dude is a pedantic rules lawyer that is so antagonistic to the point where it's just not even fun. You could have warned your friend. You could have done something good for your friend, but you chose not to. That I feel like is a problem player behavior. I'm obviously joking around. You're not the problem in this situation, but I feel like maybe it's too much of me, and I'll let the comments let me know if maybe I'm unfair about this. But I feel like in this situation, OP, you were a little bit of a problem. You could have gave your friend a heads up. You could have gave your buddy a little bit like in the know about what to expect and what's going on. If they were to listen to you, sure, maybe you could have avoided it. If they chose to be like, nah, I think it's a bit fine, well, at least you gave him a warning. At least you let him know. It's not like you have to tell your friend that like, hey, bunch of problem players and stuff, so watch out. But I feel like it would have been the right thing to do in this situation. Otherwise, you're just leaving your friend to deal with 3 a-holes. Why would you do that? Don't let your other friends deal with a-holes. Unless it's something to do in a private time in the bedroom, then by that point, whatever they do is whatever they do. I feel like we could squeeze in another story. I'm gonna go find us another story for today. Nudist elf kills the French. Some stories out there just make the title themselves. That's probably gonna be the title of the video. So it's about time I share my one horror story. It was a game of Warhammer fantasy roleplay in what was supposed to be the enemy within campaign. The problem never really comes to a head, it is more of a slow barrage of pain we needed to live through. Our antagonist, the elves, were a duo player by a pair of friends. We have the problem, the true problem, a wood elf who always wore a wooden mask and only usually wore anything else. The player just never took anything seriously. The follower who mostly just backed up the problem until the situation that saw them out of the game. Only notable by being the only illiterate PC and somehow the one who carried the Nudist without directions. The player honestly would have been fine removed from the problem player. I think they even did something useful once, but I've forgotten it. The other PCs are not particularly relevant, but we had a third elf whose ability to be normal was such my dwarf became slightly less prejudiced to high elves on ground that were clearly less elfy than the horrors above. Our tale and a sign of things to come was in an interesting scenario where in an inn besieged by beastmen, here the problem discovers the nation of Bretonia and the fact that they're the fantasy French, making it his stated goal to kill them, to the point he makes it his goal on a character sheet to earn extra XP for it. Our despicable duo then just waits outside in the stable to attack and kill the Bretonian NPCs. Once the beastmen attack and the rest of us are being useful, the wanderer carrying the kill managed to use the chaos to convince everyone the beastmen did it. Their quirks don't really come up beyond not particularly helpful in the fight. So out party leaves via wagon as the inn burns, assuming anyone after this problem is hunting Bretonians, which he called the French. So let me get this straight. Basically, you have the two numbnuts basically with you, the elf and their buddy, that are basically just choosing to kill the Bretonians, kill the French while the castle's under siege. So while everybody else is actually playing the game and actually trying to engage with the story and everything, the rest of these shitheads are basically just walking around, just shanking the French. Just why? What's the point for it? For the sake of experience? He definitely did list them as a problem place for sure, but the fact that GM just allowed him to do so, I feel like it's also kind of falls on GM to do that as well. Like, if they're not getting in trouble because of this, I feel like that's kind of dumb. That's kind of stupid. Because now you basically are, GM is basically giving this idiots a pass to just, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want, you can probably get away with it as long as you bluff hard enough, it's fine, it's okay. Basically give him a pass. Don't give these guys a pass. I mean, unless GM is perfectly fine with them just running around killing a bunch of Bretonians for no reason. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why GM is not more engaged in this situation particularly. I don't know what they're thinking. When it comes to problem players being able to get away with problem player behavior, it's usually more than one person dealing with this, right? Problem players doing problem player behavior, but the GM, DM, whatever arbiter of the game, whatever game master here going on, is allowing for this to happen long enough for problem player to be able to get away with it. If the GM claps down it early on, that usually doesn't become a problem. But I feel like in this situation, I don't know what the GM is doing. I don't know what they're thinking. They're just allowing the problem be a problem. The next bit is us going into inn, heading for the capital. Next inn across, we give the word of the last place burning down and get a proper night's rest. Except the problem who strips all his clothes for some reason. Spends a while like that, except the now crotch mountain mask goes downstairs to steal. Where are you putting the loot? Good question. He proceeds to contribute nothing to fighting the bad mutant that crashed through a window beyond committing indecent exposure after the fight woke everyone up. Again, why is the DM just allowing this guy to do this specific thing? Just be absolutely useless. Why are they just allowing the problem being a problem in the first place? Unless they're really enjoying it, unless they're in cahoots with it, I don't know. Why is nobody speaking up about this? It's like, if the guy's literally useless for the sake of being useless and not contributing anything to the rest of the party, what is the point of having him there? Next, we have the one time the problem did anything useful in the campaign. Which is to say, nothing actually helpful. But it was funny this time. He convinces the barman to take his bow while the problem bounces an apple on his head. GM, quite fed up with willing to kill problem at the time, crit the hit roll on the apple, much to our mirth and disappointment. So it was the inn was renamed the Elf and Arrow. Okay, at least we have the presence of the GM. They clearly are miffed and annoyed with the problem. Then why are they letting the problem get away with it? Listen, GMs and DMs out there, I don't know who I need to be telling to, but hopefully somebody will be able to hear this that need to hear this. Maybe somebody can clip this and send to the DM that's dealing with a problem player. Do not let the problem get away with problem player behavior, because the only person that can stop them fully is the GM. If somebody's being a problem, it is your responsibility, nay, your duty to the rest of the table to stop the problem in their tracks, talk to them, figure out how to get them to stop being a problem, and if they can't stop being a problem, remove them from the table. Stop letting bad people get away with doing dumb shit, dude. Do yourself a favor, do the rest of the table a favor. Finally, we get to the city, and the problem truly becomes an impediment to the game. After showing the restraint to not take a shot at the Emperor during a parade, we trace a suspicious thief who is running through the streets, but problem tries to just kill the guy. denying us information beyond the legality of the murder. Being a bounty hunter, I try to stop this, and so my character is attacked. Crit, and the result is a nut punch that puts me to 1 HP. Soon to discover, as I was the first person to tell the problem no, I have become his new target. So commence 2-3 sessions of trying to kill the guy with 1 HP and failing utterly. Again, where's the GM to try to stop this? Why is GM not doing anything about this? Like, this is so dumb, dude. It's so dumb. I know I'm annoying, like, when I'm constantly bumping into this, but I genuinely mean it. If you have a problem player, only you can stop. It's like I'm smoking the bear or something, except Morrow the Tiefling. Only you can stop problem players. GM, only you can stop problem players. So stop the problem players. Please stop the problem players before they take over your game. So for the following sessions, I assume the rest of us are trying to be useful. Problem keeps threatening my character, so I do the logical thing and incite a hate crime. 2 other much larger and drunker dwarves in the inn are promptly sent hunting for elves, and of the 3 in the inn find the wrong one. In the end, I drag out the high elf, who was on the bad side of an ass-kicking. GM rolled to see which one they went after, and the problem had been hiding in the halls and corners waiting to jump me in the chaos of the epic bar fight session. Meanwhile, follower takes himself out of the game by wandering around trying to buy guns, wandering into the Imperial Armory, refusing to leave, and just being led to a cell. Next, problem sets a fire outside my character's room in the night, so I either escaped out the window or was the wrong room and he got another PC instead. I forget, because I think both those things happened at some point, in some context, and there was a lot of inns. Lo and behold, the inn burns down, and while everyone was in the crowd outside, a problem takes one last shot at me with a bow, and misses because I'm a dwarf, so shorter than the humans. So he flees to the shadows with his face now known, another murderer under his belt, and the duo were kicked. For context, the whole time we were supposed to be in the sewers looking for cultist activity. As to why the 2 stuck around this long, I think follow was actually useful-ish anytime the 2 was separated and we needed people to make up numbers for combat purposes. The duo were never quite disruptive enough to fully hold back a session until near the end and always threatened to be useful. GM also owned the building, and I think he was trying to not have his windows broken in the night. So the whole time, GM literally allowed these guys to be dickheads and shitheads at his table because he didn't want those guys to come back and like throw a brick at the window. That is so stupid. That is a stupid reason why I keep it in play. I get why they did it, but it's so stupid. You tell the player, hey, knock it off, or else I'm not gonna let you do this thing. You can't let people get away with this kind of stuff, man, regardless of what's going on. If you think somebody's gonna throw a brick at your window, I don't know, you could maybe put like bars on your window or something to, I don't know, hopefully keep it more protected, defended, I don't know. Still, either way, allowing somebody to stay in the game and be a problem player because you're afraid they're gonna throw a brick through the window, like, that's so stupid. You shouldn't have these people in the first place, and that's regard if you think they're gonna be that kind of a player that's gonna throw a brick at your window or do something to your property or something. They're clearly unhinged and crazy. You remove them, borrow from your store entirely altogether, or your building altogether, and just don't have them there. It sucks. The situation sucks. And honestly, I'm not saying like, you know, oh, it's okay to kick him out, risk a broken window. I'm not the kind of guy to do that. But like, I would never say that. But like, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb to have an idiot like that that's literally you afraid to kick out because you don't want to throw a brick through the window. Man, it's frustrating. It's dumb and frustrating. This guy is a problem. His follower also equally is a problem. I wouldn't even call him helpful-ish. He was clearly tagging along with a problem player to do the problem player shit things, and you shouldn't have either one of those. Honestly, just avoid both altogether. They sound like a miserable duo to be around. Avoid them completely like the plague, and just no more naked elves. No more naked nudist elves ever. The French... Nah, the French deserve it. I'm kidding. Man, my French players are going to be so mad over that joke. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.